Alrighty, everybody, it is currently Monday, March 3rd, 2025, and today we're talking about soaps, alright? Some of you might be thrown off. You might be a little worried. You might be looking around the room, glancing left and right. What's going on? Why is he recording this on a Monday? I got spring break next week, alright, guys? So I'm going to be too busy getting pussy, alright? Getting girls, licking pussy, and also licking asshole to be able to do this next week, alright? While you incels are listening to this, alright, in your room, locked up alone, playing some shitty game no one's ever heard of, alright? I'm going to be out on Miami Beach getting pussy, alright? That's why I'm recording it this week, and also, or that's why I'm recording it right now, and also, I don't know, my brain has just been going 1,000 miles an hour. In between periods of eating for me, I'm just like starving constantly. Like an hour or two after I eat, I can't. I'm physically incapacitated. I'm so physically drained. It doesn't feel like I've eaten in days. And so I just ate. And so I'm fucking on one right now. All right. And so that's why we're talking about this. All right. Because my brain is moving 1,000 miles an hour and I need to get it out. All right. I'm not going to therapy. I'm definitely not getting medicated for this, which I probably should, dude. I'm thinking so fast I'm shaking right now. My whole body can feel it, dude. I might get vaporized at this point. But speaking of you incels listening to this right now in your dark fucking room alone, wrapped in a blanket, surrounded by cum-stained underwear, I saw a woman recently. So beautiful. So gorgeous. This does sound like some weird stalker shit, and maybe it is. But I looked at this woman and I saw her. She was taller than me. You know, I'm a short guy. I'm about 5'5", and this lady, she was taller than me. Not by a ton, but definitely taller, maybe 5'10", something around there. Not too tall, you know what I mean? We're not talking no Brittany Grinders here. We're not talking so tall that you're like, what is that? You know what I mean? We're talking like a nice, like, model height, beautiful face. And I saw her, and I realized something. Some people need to be incels in order to maintain the social order, all right? Here's how I came up with that thought. I shouldn't be anywhere near this woman. Not in terms physically, but like in terms of social interaction, I shouldn't be near her. And if I was to go near her, that would do so much to destroy the social order in multiple different facets that I just deserve to die alone. I have to die alone to preserve the social order of this country, of this culture as a whole, you know what I mean? Western culture. And I realized that today, and so maybe now that's why I'm so excited. I got a new lease on life, all right? I'm just going to live in my cave alone, jerk off to AI-generated pictures of Lois Griffin with her big, juicy tits out, all right? They're poking out of her green shirt a little bit, or she's got a couple buttons open. You can see a little bit of side nipple. I asked ChatGPT to do that specifically. They know I like it, all right? And so I had to talk about that today, dude. I had to talk about how some of us got to be that way, all right? Some of us got to be the incels, dude, so that the hotties can go out and have their fun, all right? They don't want to see us. They want us to live in our little caves. They don't want to see us happy. They definitely... Imagine seeing someone so much uglier than you. Imagine you're like a hot person. I'm talking hot. Hot with a capital H. Dude, chick, trans, whatever. And there are hot trans, all right? I'm not going to hide my feelings on that one. But imagine being a hot one of those, and you're walking around. You just broke up with your other fucking hot girlfriend or whatever, who's also hot. And you're walking around all sad and depressed and shit, and you just see a 5'5" goblin and his 5'2" goblin girlfriend, and their hunched backs and their zitted up faces, and just, oh my God, I can't imagine a worse feeling than that. Look, it's the lot we drew in life. If the Indians are right and we know our place and we stay in our place, I'm just describing the caste system. I'm just now realizing that I am perfectly describing to a T the caste system. And I think they figured that one out. I don't think it should be based on skin color like they think it is, but look, some of us are below others. That's just the way it is. We kind of got to accept that and move on. And speaking of that, all like these federal firings, like people like being like, we need to get rid of bureaucracy and like government bureaucracy and corporate bureaucracy and all that, blah, blah, blah. I'm a political genius. I know how everything works. No, my kids don't listen to me, but if the fucking government will, and everything will run perfectly. No, all right? If we get rid of corporate bureaucracy, you know what's going to happen? Everything's going to collapse, all right? Corporate bureaucracy and government bureaucracy are jobs for retarded people. And that's why I want to have one of those jobs, all right? Because I'm retarded. They're jobs for people whose ancestors for the past 400 years, at least, have just been field peasants. Field slaves, peasants, serfs, vassals, whatever you want to call them. We have those brains. The vast majority of people in this country have those brains, all right? We need the bureaucracy. We need just like a mindless job for drones to do. We can't get rid of it. It's not going to work out. All the factories got moved over. All the farming, you need to be smart to do farming now. I don't know if people know that. You need to be smart to do that shit. Driving $1 million tractor, you don't want to fucking, you know what I mean? You don't want a simple-minded Dalton there, like, worried about his sports bets because he thinks that's real. Just like crashing the fucking $1 million tractor. You have to be smart to do that now. You have to be like a fucking chemist to be a farmer. Those guys are dealing with like Breaking Bad chemicals and shit. All right, you got to be smart to do that. Like I said, the factory jobs are all over there. That leaves one thing. There's only one thing left for the retards to do, and that's to like be an assistant manager of PowerPoints at the Department of Energy or some shit like that, all right? We can't keep getting rid of these jobs. It's going to cause mass unemployment. Not everyone can be a coder, all right? You know how hard coding is? Most people fucking stare at their phone all day. They just think it's magic. They don't know that there's like electricity running through there. When they charge their phones, they're confused as to why. They think it's like a magical piece of glass that they can just stare at all day, that like God's talking to them through. All right? We can't keep firing these people. They need these idiot jobs. I need these idiot jobs. Please, we can't keep doing this. And speaking of which, I don't know. I had nothing to go off there, so we're just going to go right into soap, all right? Soap is a salt of fatty acids that is used for washing, all right? I didn't know soap was made out of salts, all right? That's why we need these goddamn jobs. If I can't figure that shit out, you think I can figure out how to mix the proper ratios of pesticides and herbicides to keep a field alive? No, dude, I can't figure that out. And I'm too emotionally weak. I've spent way too much time staring at my magical piece of glass to be able to kill an animal. I could kill an animal, but every single day, I think I'd start killing some people after that. You know what I mean? So I can't do that either. I need just a pure bureaucracy, even a private bureaucracy. I'll take that. It's going to be the exact same thing either way, and I might get some better health care for it. All right? We need these bureaucratic jobs. We need bureaucracy. And you know what else we need? Talked a little bit about the trans people earlier, talking about the hot ones. We need a Buck Angel Hunter Schafer sex tape, all right? I figured this out. If you don't know who Buck Angel is, look that dude up. Beast, all right? Even if you're one of those guys that's like, I don't use fucking pronouns. I know I'm not going to use your preferred pronouns because I'm a fucking tough guy. Ugh. Okay, you're just not going to, you know what I mean? You're still an idiot, right? You're just wrong about other shit. But anyway, I'm not going to use your preferred pronouns. Okay, dude, whatever. Be that way. I don't think these people care that much anyway. There's a reason they've chose to close themselves off. But I'm talking about unclosing that off, all right? I'm talking Buck Angel, who, by the way, I said look him up. He's this big buff dude. You're calling Buck Angel his pronouns. You're saying he, him. You're not even saying he, him at that point. You're calling Buck Angel sir, all right? Sir with a capital S, and you're not saying anything else. I'm talking like a hard, like a military sir, you know what I mean? Like hands behind your back, like rigid posture, like sir. That's what you're calling Buck Angel. And Hunter Schafer, if you don't know, is the hot one from Euphoria, all right? And I know what everyone's thinking. Oh, no, dude. Oh, that's so gross. I can never find a transgender. Ew, you're disgusting me in my fucking head, man. All right. Yeah, sure. Look at Hunter Schafer and tell me if that thing didn't have a vagina, all right? Whether you think it's a man or a woman, doesn't matter. If that person had a vagina, you would be going hog wild on it, all right? You'd be praising the box like you're a Muslim, all right? Black, white, doesn't matter. You'd be praising that box, okay? So let's not act like I'm the only one that thinks this. But the transgenders, they need to get rid of all the ugly ones, all right? We can't have these receding hairlines or like, I guess that's like the, what would that be? Male to female ones. We can't, if you got a receding hairline, we're going to have to pull you back to like the reserves, all right? We can get you out on the front line eventually, maybe in like 20, 30 years, but we're going to have to pull you back to the reserves, all right? It's just the way it's got to be. You push the hot ones out there for the chicks, and then you push the hot one out there for the dudes as well. Because I scroll, like I said, I spend about 90% of my day on this magic box in front of us, okay? I've seen some ugly F to M's as well. I mean, I'm not even talking, I guess ugly is the right word, but just, it's not quite there, you know what I mean? You're just not built for the game. Right? It's like if I wanted to play in the NBA, I'm just not built for it. You know, I'm not catching lobs off the backboard. You're a 5'2" woman with gigantic tits. You're just, even if they cut those things off, your face is still, you know what I mean? It's the face of a man who could be a man, but I mean, just not really. So we got to pull those ones off the back lines as well, and we got to drop this Hunter Schafer Buck Angel sex tape. I really think this is going to work wonders, all right? And you can do whatever you want with it. We can get creative with it. We can have Buck Angel fucking Hunter Schafer with a strap on, all right? We can even do, you know what I mean? I don't know if Buck Angel's got a real one down there. I don't imagine he does. So I think we're going to have to go with a strap on. We could do that. We could do Hunter fucking Buck Angel. That could be a classic. We're going to have to, I can't imagine that Buck Angel's man pussy. Sorry, I don't even want to call it a pussy. I feel like that's too feminine. His cooter, I feel like maybe that's a little more masculine. Whatever Buck Angel's working with down there, I don't imagine it gets very wet at all. So I think we're going to have to get a lot of KY. That's going to be probably the majority of our budget, which is why I'm thinking we have Buck Angel enter Hunter. Because I feel like that, you know what I mean, might be a little more spaced out down there than Buck is in the pussy area, even though Buck was allegedly a hooker, and a fine-ass one too, I might add. I mean, Buck, dude. And I'm talking when Buck was Buckette, you know? Buck was fine, dude. A fine little female, you know what I mean? Not too, and, you know, masculine-looking face, but not, like, overly, kind of like, if you've seen Dexter, you know, Deborah Morgan and Dexter, that's the kind of face Buck Angel had. Like, that's definitely a chick, but, like, she's got some, that's a powerful jawline right there, you know what I mean? Like a face, and like I said, Buck Angel was a female prostitute, so take this with a grain of salt. A face that could take a few punches from him, and you know what I mean? That type of face. Buck Angel had like those Khabib-type cheekbones, that like nice jaw. Take a few punches from the pimp. All right? That's what Buck did, I think. I think Buck probably got his. I feel like even back then, Buck is so masculine that, like, at no point, like, the government, like, I feel like there's, like, states where they refuse to change, like, the gender on your birth certificate or your driver's license or whatever. Dude, they changed that shit without even asking. Buck walked in, fucking whipped out his 3-inch clit, threw that thing on the desk of the DMV and said, change that shit. And they said, yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's what they did to Buck. All right, and so I'm thinking for this sex tape, who are we going to have directing? We got to get a smart one. Who's the smartest one? Caitlyn Jenner, all right? Like it or not, Caitlyn Jenner, she is the smartest one. She beat a fucking murder case, all right? But she is a Jenner, you know what I mean? She's related to the Kardashians and all that shit, who were OJ's lawyers, so it probably wasn't too tough for her, and it was like a involuntary vehicular manslaughter anyway, so Caitlyn was getting off easy, but another smart thing Caitlyn did, and I'm talking like strategically smart, maybe not like calculus or whatever. I don't know if Caitlyn could do that. Caitlyn could bullshit her way through a calculus class. She's very strategically smart, you know what I mean? Very socially smart. So I think that's why she's going to be the architect of this alleged sex tape. I think Caitlyn could do that extremely well, you know what I mean? And she's got connections, you know what I mean? And she wasn't the one that made Kim Kardashian sex tape. That was Kris Jenner, but still, you know what I mean? She can get some advice from Kris on how to get this done, because we need this done. Not we as a country, you know what I mean? If we want to accept these people into our society, we need to get this done, and we need Caitlyn to direct it. Caitlyn, also masculine woman that we're dealing with, so people are going to respect her. You know what I mean? This isn't going to be like some kind of bullshit where it's like a 24-year-old female teacher. You know what I mean? Like, when there was, like, a young teacher you had in your class in middle school and you were just like, shut the fuck up, bitch. You know what I mean? You'd throw thumbtacks at her forehead, that type of shit. That's not happening with Caitlyn, all right? Caitlyn will beat your ass with a meter stick and not even get in trouble for it. She'll be, I was defending myself. No, you don't understand. I was defending. She does have that facelift. That could be a symptom of injecting a ton of hormones into her body, but she was probably also on steroids. So I feel like Caitlyn took so many steroids becoming a decathlon athlete, whatever, and then took all this estrogen now that she's just kind of like a normal dude, probably in terms of hormone levels. That's what I'm thinking maybe. I don't know if they had steroids back in the 70s, and even if they did, they definitely weren't like they were now. Like the steroids back in the 70s was probably like gasoline mixed with like jizz. You just put that shit, you wouldn't even hit a vein. They'd just be like, find a fucking muscle and put it in it, dude. That was probably the steroids back then. So Caitlyn probably already had a messed up system to begin with. Throw a little more in there for the fun of it. Why not? You get so high on those hormones, you go out and accidentally kill someone on a highway, no big deal. Now you're directing the sex tape that is going to change the tides of the war for trans rights in this country. Caitlyn is back on the right track, all right? That's what we got to do. Like it or not, that's what we got to do. And you know what else we got to do? We got to talk about soap, all right? The earliest evidence of soap comes from 2800 BC in Babylon, all right? So soap was invented. If you don't know where Babylon is, it's about like modern-day Iraq. And if you're American listening to this, we invaded that country twice, so you definitely don't know where it is. But it's kind of like near Israel, you know? It's kind of like east of there. I think there's like one like shitty, weird like country with a name no one knows separating it. Maybe it's Jordan. I don't know. It's one of like those little bullshit countries that are just like, it's like a patch of desert with 30 dudes that they call a country, but it's like kind of there. So it's like Middle East and it's near India. And so, not near India, I think Iran and Afghanistan and Pakistan separate Iraq from India. So there's like 3 countries in the way, but it's not too much, you know? That's where I think the Silk Road maybe might have gone through it a little bit. Maybe not. I don't know. But it's near India, and it was invented in 2800 BC, and that is shocking to hear the least, because that shit was invented 3,000 years, or not even 3,000, almost 5,000 years ago, and it still hasn't reached India. This is crazy. This is some breaking news. India's on the moon right now. They have like a shitty little fucking drone walking around the moon, stealing all the parts off of our drone, going up to our drone and being, your car needs a new warranty. Your lunar rover needs a new warranty. I am up on the moon now. Okay, sir. So your drone needs a new warranty. Okay, they're calling our, and that's honestly not a half bad plan. You know what I mean? To call our government and tell them that our lunar drones need a new warranty. They are old enough and at this point retarded enough to fall for that. And another thing about the government I never got, so you know how like there's like Epstein's Island and all these other like child sex rings that exist in order to blackmail people? I guess that answers my question, but like that I'm about to ask. Why can't there be like some like chill ass secret society that's just like about like foot jobs or like, you know what I mean, like milking tables or something normal like that, like more normal than having sex? Why can't it be like just like a, you know what I mean, just like a thing that's like really into like 70-year-old, like borderline like inappropriately aged women on the older end of the aspect, you know what I mean? And another thing about that is they like the tropics. Like the old people like the tropics. And so it's not even, you don't even have to traffic them there. You can just be like, yo, this is just kind of like a cruise all the time. Pull up here, you know what I mean? While you're sleeping, a dude might jizz on your face, but you don't care. You're 70 years old. You're going to forget about it in a few days. I think we got to do that. Or if you want to keep it immoral, if you want to keep it a blackmail ring, we can go like 85 plus. You know, because that's you definitely shouldn't be doing that at that point. I don't care how cognizant they are. I don't care if they straight up say yes. If they say, yes, please, fuck this pussy up. That was a ghost. you guys know that was supposed to be an old lady voice. All right, but you definitely shouldn't be fucking with it. We could just do that. We could just get, you know, because you're 85. You're at the end of your life anyway. Like, that's like the problem with, like, fucking kid, you know, it like fucks them up for their whole life. And it's also just, you know what I mean, you shouldn't do it. But 85, it's like, yeah, it still fucks him up, you know what I mean? You might break a hip, but they're going to break a hip anyway, you know what I mean? They're going to break a hip even if they spend all day in a wheelchair. Yeah, somehow they spend all day in a wheelchair and they still break a hip. If you break it while you're fucking them, what's the difference? And most of them are so dementia up at that point. Like I said, they're going to forget about it anyway. And that could be for some fun role play, you know what I mean? You can, if you've ever had a fantasy of being like a plumber or whatever, you can be like a different thing every night. Like one night you're a plumber. The next day you're like a nurse or whatever. The next day you're a doctor. So like if a nurse was a guy, that's like what a doctor is. You could do that. I think I just figured it out. I just solved the whole problem. These people, they just don't want to think rationally. They just want to blackmail everyone so that they can, I don't know, like set up oil fields somewhere. We can still do that, all right, guys? We can, if we just get like a few videos of these guys, like, and girls, because the girls are pedophiles too. They're worse. Allegedly, there's a video of Hillary Clinton eating a kid's face, Florida man bath salt style. Look, I don't know if it's true. And alleged she also did like wear like the skin of the face on her face, like Dwight Schrute in that one episode, which I think he did based on Silence of the Lambs. I think that was a thing in Silence of the Lambs. He took the guy's face off and wore it, or the chick's face off. I don't know. Hillary Clinton, anyway, allegedly did that. And like the old people, that fits in there too, because their faces are so saggy. You can make 2 masks out of one. That's a 2 for 1. You don't need to kill, 3 kids to make 1 human skin mask. You can just kill 1 old lady and make 2, or old dude. Whatever you're fucking with, whatever your prerogative is, it's basically the same thing. It's a win-win. Just give them a bunch of fucking drugs and just put them on like some shitty island somewhere. You don't even have to go tropical. You can just kind of like make them stay in the house all day and be like, hurricane's coming in. And then the next day they forget about it, and same thing. You're like, hurricane's coming in. You got to stay in the house. Who's that guy? That guy, he is coming here to fuck you, but you don't feel anything down. You're basically paralyzed at this point. Your legs are the size of toothpicks. You haven't moved them in 4 years. All right, so just let him come in here and fuck you. You know what I mean? Yeah, he doesn't mind the smell of the shit that is caked between your asshole and the piss that's covering your entire body because we haven't cleaned you up in 4 days. And the only downside is it's going to be hard to convince like the Jamaican nurses to do it. I was going to say the Jamaican and the Filipino nurses, but the Filipino they won't give a fuck. They'll go straight up to that island. They'll be like, "Oh, you're fucking him, whatever, no big deal." The Jamaican ones, it's going to be difficult. I don't know how you're going to get them to that island to take care of those old people. That's going to be a difficult one. We got to figure it out. I don't know how we get them to this island. Not weed, because Jamaicans really don't like weed that much, I guess. The ones that are nurses aren't like freaky like that, So what do like old Jamaicans like? Or like not old, but like middle-aged with a fat ass, but like the ass is like, you're like, it's like a fat ass and like kind of like a shapely woman, but you're still not attracted to it at all somehow. Like we all know what I'm talking about when I say Jamaican nurses, but that is what I'm talking about. So I don't know how we're going to get them there. I don't know how we're going to entice them to this island to take care of these old sex slaves. It's going to be difficult. And also another thing, kids run away all the fucking time. If you've ever been to Walmart, there's 1,000 posters of like, "Oh, my kid ran away. I don't know what we did wrong. I don't know what I did wrong. All I did was give him a bunch of Adderall. All I did was give him Adderall from the time he was 5 until he was 13, and I just don't know what's wrong. I don't know why he ran away. I don't know why he disappeared." But kids are always running away. That's my point. Old people aren't going to run, Sometimes you hear about those stories in nursing homes, but that's just because everyone there is like taking the old people's drugs instead of giving it to them. All right? These Jamaican nurses, they don't play like that. That's like gay dude stuff, all right? Look, I love them. I love the boys. They're great at a lot of shit. You know what I mean? They are. They're really great at clothes, really good at that. Getting mad at waiters, second only to the Jews. But nursing home, even regular nurses, I feel like they're pretty good at, you know what I mean? Especially like a nice big fat one. Like beyond bear. I'm not even talking about bear at this point. I'm talking like walrus. That's like the type of fat we're dealing with. Like those guys are pretty good nurses. But nursing home nurses, definitely not. Definitely not. They're stealing all those drugs. They're like, "What does this one do? Stops me from shitting? Perfect. Stops me from accidentally shitting? That's exactly what I needed. Sorry, Grandma. You're wearing a diaper anyway. Okay, you'll be fine." So we, can't take the gay dudes up there. It's got to be, we might have to go just pure Filipino nurses at this point. But they're feisty, dude. They won't fight back. They're really not feisty about too much. So I think we're good. We don't need to get the Jamaicans up there. We're done enticing them. We were like, "Hey, you want some beef patties?" You know what I mean? "You want some rice on peas? We got rice on peas on the island. There's just some old people get fucked every once in a while. You come to the island, it's a fun time." I just turned into George St. Pierre there. But we don't got to entice them anymore. We just got to get the Filipinas up there. So I think this is doable. I think this is a doable mission we're on right now. Got to get on that. Got to get the transgender sex tape done. And you know what else we got to do? We got to talk about soap. The first people who made soap didn't understand it. They were, it's not like when we talked about with robots and computers and stuff where they were like intentionally trying to make a thing that worked in a specific way. Soap is made from the first soaps, the proto soaps were made from ash and animal fat. And the ash is like the lye. If you've seen Fight Club, which if you're listening to this, if you're a dude who's listening to random podcasts, especially up to this point with what I've said, you've definitely seen Fight Club before. You're definitely intimately familiar with that movie. You've definitely seen several edits on TikTok where you're like, is that racist? I don't care. It's not even an I don't know. It's an I don't care situation. So if you're listening to this up to this point, you've definitely seen that movie. But like the part where he's like, all right, we're going to burn your fingertips off now. And he puts it in the thing. What he puts it in is lye. And so that's kind of like what the purpose ash served in soap. And then fat, obviously. And the reason that you need these two things to make soap is because fat is what's called a nonpolar chemical. And the lye, the salt, I guess that's like what makes it a fatty salt. The lye or whatever, that is a polar, quote unquote, chemical. And you need those two components because you need that in order to like clean everything off of something. Because a thing that's dirty, like let's say it's like a dirty dish, a dirty bowl, you're going to have both nonpolar and polar chemicals on there. And polar chemicals can't pull off nonpolar chemicals and vice versa. And so that's why you need both of these things in order to clean it off. And that's why we need Buck Angel and Hunter Schafer, all right? We can't just go one. We can't get like, I don't know, unless they drop another super hot one, but they really haven't since Euphoria. They pulled their only one out of the tank for that, quite frankly, pretty shitty show. It was a bad move. It was not strategic at all. If Caitlyn was running that, and she will, all right? When Barron Trump becomes our God Emperor, Caitlyn will be in charge of transgender affairs for Northern America. She wouldn't be pulling bullshit like that, all right? You know what I mean? That's like going straight in with your best play. You save that shit till you need it, all right? You get. I'm trying to think of other ones. Those are the only two I can think of, or the only three, I guess. Buck's a good opener. You know what I mean? Buck sets the tone. Buck lets people know what the fuck is up. Buck's a fullback. Buck will go in there, pave the way. Okay. Hunter's not going to do that. Hunter's more of a, once the way is paved and the people start to go in a little bit, that's like your magnet, the thing that like they're all attracted to. You fuckers better not, all right? Her dick isn't even that big, all right? And I'm maybe not the best judge of whose dick is big and whose is small because I'm not working with a whole ton over here, so maybe I'm chirping. I feel like this is a small one we're talking about, all right? It's not even that big, so you probably won't even notice when Buck is getting in there with the skin-colored strap-on. Speaking of strap-ons and sex toys, I was rewatching that movie Lars and the Real Girl, which if you don't know, it's this movie where Ryan Gosling, he's like this super like lonely guy. So it starts off the same as every Ryan Gosling movie. It's like this weird, socially awkward loner. And he buys a sex doll and like just pretends it's his girlfriend, but not like pretends like when little kids like play with toys or whatever. And it's like, I'm going to the house now. He like, it's more of a delusion, I guess, than it is him pretending. He like is fully convinced this thing is his girlfriend and that like she came from Brazil and he met her there. And I was like, I was watching that movie and I was wondering how much these things costed. We're talking $10,000 for a base model. You know what I mean? We're not talking about the sports model or anything. We're not talking about no upgrade packages, all right? This thing doesn't even have heated fucking seats and it's $10,000. You could buy, in this day and age, not a whole ton with that. That might be, now that I'm saying it, that might be the best thing you can get for $10,000 because you really can't get that great of a car because people are selling fucking like 1992 Toyotas, like a Toyota Corolla, not even like a dependable, like a Toyota car that you would want, just like a car that you need, not a car that you want, a car that you need. They're selling that for $10,000 fucking dollars nowadays. All right. So this might be the best purchase that you can get for $10,000, but definitely not back when Lars was buying it. And it was probably relatively more expensive when Lars was getting it. We're probably talking 12 at least. And what I was going to say during that originally was if you buy that, we're just going to take you out. You know? I feel like I definitely talked about this in the robot one when I was talking about the pedophile sex dolls. Either way, I think if you buy a sex doll, we got to take a fleshlight. That thing's like $50, $70, maybe cheaper than that at this point. I don't know. I don't know if it's like flat screen TVs where they've just perfected the manufacturing process so much that like now they're relatively cheap. I don't know if fleshlights are that way, but 50 cent, that's a mistake. All right, we can move past even. I don't know. I feel like we just got to take these people out of the game that are spending 10 grand on it, just from like. And I think that works from multiple perspectives because one, you're just too freaky. Either A, you're too freaky, or B, you have too much money, in which case, proletariat uprising, you know what I mean? Karl Marx said the first communist, or the last capitalist, the quote is that the last capitalist we hang shall be the one who sold us the rope, but I think the saying would be better if it was the first capitalist we hang shall be the one who sold us the rope, because that would work better, right? Because it's like, I fucking hate capitalism so much, you're going to sell me this rope and I'm going to fucking hang you right now, even though I kind of am a capitalist because I just bought the rope, but doesn't matter. My Karl Marx saying is the first capitalist we kill shall be the one who bought the sex doll for $10,000 because what the fuck? You know? That's like, that's worse than buying it. Because the thing about buying a car for $1 million or however the fuck much you're spending on it is that at the end of the day, everyone has a car. So it's like, I guess you're spending $1 million on it, but at least everyone has a car. Very few people, this might be like one of those statistics where it's like secretly it's super high, but like very few people have sex dolls, right? And so if you're spending $10,000 on one, that's just, you know what I mean? It's not like it's something that you're just like, oh, he just has a really nice version of what I have. No, he has something that I don't have. It's that's like the difference between the two. And so I think those are the first ones we're going to kill when I start my uprising. All right? And I think I'm just going to end the episode there. That's definitely not all I have. I definitely have more to say, but I have to record 4 fucking episodes this week. And so, yeah, I got to preserve the energy a little bit, but I don't know. This episode was kind of a wild one. I didn't get through all my facts about soap, but liquid soap was invented in 1865. Early soaps weren't necessarily used for disinfection. Yeah, like the first soaps they did disinfect, but that wasn't their purpose. Their purpose was to like get you or something that you were washing to look nice or smell nice. And so that's what the original soaps were used for. And the word soap comes from a Germanic word for tallow, and not like Germanic in terms of like what we would think of as modern German, like Germanic, like ancient, like tribal peoples. You know what I mean? So they weren't kind of the thing that like German and English and like Swedish and like all those languages that kind of they've got some words in them that sound the same. All those languages descended from these languages. And the Chinese also had soap, but it was more like detergent. And that was when I got that fact, I was pretty excited because I was like, that's why they love being dry cleaners. You know what I mean? That's why they always own the fucking laundromat and the dry cleaner and all that shit. This is in their blood. But I don't know. I ranted about the transgenders too much for that one to be in there. And sand and pumice can be added to make like a more abrasive type of soap if you want to like scrub, like if something's really on there, or if something like that's like small is on there. If you're trying to make whatever you're cleaning to be smooth, you would use a soap with some kind of abrasive thing in there. And yeah, that's all I've got for this episode. I'm probably gonna put this one out this Wednesday, right? Yeah, I'll put this one out. What would that be? The 6th? No, that would be the 5th. So this one will be coming out on the 5th, I think. And then, yeah. And I figured out what I'm going to do for the Sunday episode, for the first Sunday episode that I'm going to record. I think we're going to do cartels. I might have already said that. But yeah, we're doing cartels. Should be a fun one. Just going to be a nice general overview of cartels. And I'm definitely not going anywhere other than Wikipedia, because if I do, I feel like I could say some information that might get me hunted down. So we're we're going to stay on Wikipedia for that one for sure. And yeah, that's all I've got for this episode, guys. Like I said, I was just like, had this burst of energy from all the pizza I just ate. You know what I mean? I was like a kid after an elementary school party, just going hog wild, just like, Mom, can we go to Walmart after the party? Mom, can we go to Walmart? And I can play with the balls and throw them in the big ball container. You know, that's what I was on for this one. But yeah, all right. This is stupid, but all these episodes are stupid, so who cares? But yeah, I hope you have a good day, good week, good month, good year, semester, spring break if that's coming up for you. Hope that goes well. If you got a birthday coming up, which I have a friend that does in about a week, a little more than a week. Happy birthday to him. If he's listening, he's probably not that motherfucker. He never believed in me and my dreams. I hate him so good, dude. So, but yeah, good day, good week, good year, good life. Yeah, and I'll see you guys on Sunday, hopefully. Peace out.